Texas, but I'm also a natural law advocate, and I'm going live right now to discuss some things that are sort of outside of what we normally talk about on my show. And I missed you guys last night, so I apologize for that. But I'm at the park, and as you guys know, I blew my back out. So it's been hard for me to get to the gym. Yes, I know I have a Dallas Cowboys logo on my shirt, but I assure you I'm straight, and I only like women. That's a joke for all of you people who don't have a sense of humor. So let's see here. So what I'm going to do this morning is take you through a quick little lawyer workout. And since I was just chatting with Kinetic Customs, we were talking about some stuff about singularities and time travel and all that stuff. And yeah, I do believe in that stuff. I think that our government, probably China, probably the U.S. government knows, probably has. We probably have been traveling back and forth to Mars and other planets, other universes, using teleportation and wormholes and all that stuff. And I think it's highly possible, highly probable that markets have been manipulated, and everything that you can imagine is all being manipulated by others. And I do believe that's a possibility. What do you guys think? So I was gonna do some pull-ups and stuff. Let's see if I can. Hold on a second. I got to tell Kinetic that I'm live. So how are you guys doing this morning? What's going on, Lynn Davidson? Hey, Lynn Davidson, tell Kinetic that I'm live. Hold on a second. Let me see. I'm going to try to tell him right now. All right. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think, Lynn and Liberty Absurdity? Do you think that time travel's real? Do you think that people are using wormholes and things like that? Do you believe in the singularity? I think that I do. All right, so there's other people. There's another person at the park messing with my game, but we're going to go ahead and I'm going to try and do some pull-ups here, take you through a little lawyer workout. Let me see here. Not bad, huh? Not bad for an old guy with a jacked up back. So that's the first set of push-ups that I've done, or pull-ups, sorry, for about, I don't know, month and a half. As you guys know, I have sciatica, and I've been nursing myself, trying to get back. So I've been doing like reverse Roman chairs. In other words, like a reverse setup to try to strengthen my spinal erectors and all that stuff, and trying to reduce the disc bulge, because I have a huge disc bulge. And so I've been doing everything I can. And so, as a lot of you guys may or may not know, when your L5 pinches off your sciatic nerve, it's not your back that hurts. What happens is that nerve pinches off all the way down your left leg, all the way down to your big toe, and it's freaking horrible. And so that's what happened to me. And it stems from a injury when I was in the Marine Corps that started in Marine combat training. And I was one of the very first series back in the 80s, like 89. Even though I was an 0311 designee, I had to go through MCT as well as School of Infantry. And I got injured at MCT and also went through School of Infantry on crutches, pretty much. But hey, what's going on, Sean? And what's going on, Kwana Parker? Let's OTVO, good seeing you, bro. Out freaking standing. All my original Chili de Castro homeboys. I'm loving it. So I just really quickly wanted to get a workout in, a little small lawyer workout today, to try to motivate all you old guys and gals that think that you can't work out or you're lazy, to look at me. You know, I litigate cases all day under an enormous amount of stress, and even with my back blown out and my sciatic nerve crushed, I do whatever I can to go for walks and exercise. And thanks to Life Under the Microscope, I've been doing the carnivore diet, trying to get leaned out. And if you guys have been watching John Felix, you'll see that he got super lean too. So hey, yeah, thanks. You're welcome, dude. I didn't join the Marine Corps because I wanted anyone to thank me. I did it because I believed, and I still believe, that it's every man's duty to serve their tribe, their people, and that as an American, we're all part of the American tribe. And you can't become a man until you first become a warrior. And that's pretty much every culture that I'm aware of until the commies took over in California and stuff. It was pretty much taught that a real man becomes a warrior. Like, you know, the natives, they had to go on a hunting party or something, right, in order to become a man. So that's all that was for me. It was just part of the transition from becoming a boy, from a boy to becoming a man. So yeah, really quick. So Kinetic Customs brought up, and Let's OTVO knows what I'm talking about. He was a sailor, U.S. Navy, our sister service, and you know, we roused each other and stuff, but Marines always think they're the best, and we're definitely the most disciplined, definitely have the most difficult physical training of all the other branches, at least in basic. But you know, every service has their hardcore units too. The Army has the Rangers, and that's badass training. A lot of respect for Rangers, 75th. And of course the Navies have the SEALs. Of course, you know, we rouse the SEALs because we don't understand, like, we think that you should serve in the infantry for a while and go through hardcore boot before you just get into a high-speed unit. But anyways, let's talk a little bit about Singularity, singularities, quantum mechanics, and stuff like that, because normally I talk about corrupt judges, corrupt cops, and government accountability. But today, just really quickly, privates, Kinetic had brought up. Hello back to Australia, Declan. Good seeing you, man. So Kinetic had brought up things like time travel and stuff like that. And I don't know if you guys caught my show, but there was a show that I did about that airplane that got lost. And there's videotape image of it where it looks like it actually went through a wormhole or some kind of a like maybe they would call that a singularity. I'm not sure. Hold on, let me switch hands here. All right. And obviously I want, if Wassa Matter use around, or Kinetic, the MH370, that's right. MH370. So I did a show on that. And so these so-called drones or whatever, these little round things that are flying around, we know that they're using some kind of a gravitic propulsion system, which does have the ability to bend gravity, apparently. I don't know if that's the proper word, kinetic. And basically, we saw on tape kept coming from a U.S. naval ship, that airplane looked like it went into like a wormhole and just disappeared. And a lot of people believe that's because it had on board several hundred top Chinese scientists, and there had some kind of technology on that aircraft in the hold as well. And America knew about it, and basically, I guess, put them through that wormhole. And I guess it went to Guam, a lot of people think. And then they disposed of the aircraft, and it was eventually found. And the aircraft itself, I guess they located it, and they researched what was on the craft, and they noticed that things had been disconnected that could have only been done after the aircraft had landed. And so a lot of people believe that it was a setup. And if you watch my video about that flight, you'll see that. And hey, what's up, Pro Se America? So Pro Se America, if you need a good Second Amendment rights lawyer, I think I've told you this before, but the best guy that I know is Alan Beck. And if he can't help you, I really don't know of anyone who can for your particular issue, unfortunately. I'm barely able to keep my small practice going right now with my injury. Getting out here and walking has just been a nightmare. But we could do a live chat or something if you want, and I could reach out to people like Arm Scholar and try to cast a wider net. But Alan's the guy. I mean, he's the guy that my firm uses for Second Amendment cases, and he's done Ninth Circuit, and he's one of the best. All right, so yes, Kinetic says oceanic flow charts determine impossible the debris. Right. Hey, we all need a team of lawyers, man. That's for sure. Okay. Yes, MH370. Yes, it was the manifest of passengers. And so my understanding is, and I think that's probably why I like Wassa mad at you, is because he thinks outside the box. And Kinetic Customs and him, I think they have similar mindsets to me. My issue is I think the lefties are just out of control, trying to put tampon machines in the men's restroom, and then flooding our country with over 20 million illegal aliens to try and turn the whole country blue using the U.S. Census. I mean, give me a bunch of ones if you agree that illegal aliens should not be counted in our census data for purposes of creating congressional districts. And they should not be allowed, nobody should be allowed to vote. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Nobody should be allowed to vote in this country unless they can verify their citizenship. Notice that I said, I didn't say ID, because the way we recorded our births up until only recently was in our family Bible, and it was notarized. So don't think that I support some kind of digital ID or any of that stuff, because I don't. I think it's crazy. I think it's just a way for the government to track you. And even the most well-meaning leader can say, okay, this will never happen. But if it has the capability of being used against you, like the communist Chinese use IDs against their people, anything that they use to track you can and will be used against you. They'll create social credit scores to destroy you and your family, like the communists are doing up in Canada right now, like they did with the truckers. All right, so with respect to time travel, I definitely believe that it can happen. And I think there's a high probability that we are living in some kind of a, what do they call that, kinetic? Like the Matrix. They have a word for it. I forgot what it's called. Let me see here. Hold on. Arms are getting tired because I'm trying to do the coffee and the phone thing. All right, so let me see here. What the heck do they call that? A simulation. A simulation. I think there's a high probability that we're living in some kind of a simulation. I mean, you have to think that out of the billions or trillions of planets that there are, that we're not the most advanced one, and that we're not the only one that has what so-called intelligent life, right, guys? I mean, it could very well be that there's some dude that looks like you and me playing with his keyboard, looking down at us, and all we are to him is a game, or her. So many people believe that's true, and the longer I live, the more I think that that probably is the case. And I believe probably the reason why, you guys tell me if you disagree, probably the reason why we're designed to die before we hit like 100 is because that's when we become wise. And the wiser you become, the more competition you become to these people that have us in this game. Give me a bunch of ones if you guys agree. I think that there's a time when we could develop enough wisdom to become so self-aware that our creators would have to put us down because we could become more aware than our creator. What do you think of them apples? So, with that being said, what do you guys think? Tell me what you think about singularities, time travel. I want to know. I want to know what you guys have to say about it. And then Ryan Lateral says, I do my long research. Yes. Yes, Elmi, I am an attorney, and I guess, and F, I believe in Christ too, man. I was raised, born and reared up as a Christian. My dad was a founder in Maranatha Church as well as Calvary in Costa Mesa. I knew Joe Smith before he passed away. Greg Laurie was, I think, our youth pastor at the time. I believe in all that same stuff too, man. Definitely, there's no question that we're created. And I believe in natural law, that all of our rights come from God, not from the government. That's why Democrats hate me, because most Democrats that I've met are atheists, and they hate God and the concept of God. They think all of our rights come from the state, which is why I can't really get along with most of them. Probably why I'm a libertarian. And then, you know, Republicans aren't far off, but at least they don't want tampon machines in the men's room, and they don't flood the country with 20 million illegal aliens at your expense using U.S. aid, tax-funded nonprofits. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. So, Elmi, I do, well, primarily I do catastrophic injury cases. So, catastrophic motorcycle accidents, car accidents. But my background is civil rights, criminal defense, and appellate law. So when I first started out, it was getting people out of prison on habeas who were wrongfully accused. So I have a real strong sense of justice. I don't like when people are falsely imprisoned by their government. I don't like lawfare like they used against President Trump, especially when the same people that went after him were guilty of far worse crimes. And that's why I believe in natural law. Thomas Aquinas said it best, that if you're going to be in a position of leadership, or a politician or a judge, you have to know the law and mean to keep it well. You basically have to be someone who would never want power. You have to be basically elected by your peers because of the fact that you're not a power seeker. Those are the best leaders. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Now, let's see here. So, I'm from I have personally witnessed with a friend, felt air displacement. I see these craft fly out. Absolutely. There's no question this gravitic propulsion thing is real. And I believe that we have had the technology to travel through time, as well as interplanetary travel, probably since before you and I were born. Because again, if they have time machines, this was already all set up. And if this is just a simulation that we live in, there's somebody else who's pulling the strings. But I also believe there's something else going on. I think there is some kind of a holy war between good and the bad angels, right? Because you see guys like the World Economic Forum, you see these demonic, satanic people wanting to transition little boys into girls and little girls into boys, telling kids that they have to come out of the closet, destroy the ability for them to reproduce. And then there's the other side, trying to respect life and create life. So, I don't know, what do you guys think? It's like, I think that there's almost like both sides have these machines, and there's some kind of battle, like some kind of holy war going on. That's the only way I can describe it in my human terminology. What do you guys think? Yes, they need the future men to be weak. That's right, Ryan. Yeah, they need us all to be really weak And I absolutely believe that. They need men to be feminized, and they need men to believe that they're women and to be weak. And it's easier to control people if they're emotional and easily manipulated. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. So anyways, guys, that was pretty much my show today, because I got to get to work. But just always remember to always be armed. Always carry. I know there's a rule, I think, against broadcasting while you're driving unless you're pointing your camera forward. So let me just really quick, let me see if there's a way I can get my truck started. Now tonight, I don't think I'm going to be able to do a live, because I got to take my son to judo. But you know, let me point this forward. But I'll do my best to try to do some stuff this weekend for sure. While we cover, I want to catch up on what's going on with Lane Myers and stuff like that. But yeah, man, it was really cool to be able to. You guys, I think I cranked out 6 pull-ups. And if you guys want to learn about that aircraft, Kinetic Customs, it's on my. I did a whole show on it. I think I did 2 shows actually about that, and about Gravitic. And you know, look, whenever someone calls you a conspiracy, or someone tells you you have a tinfoil hat, that probably means that you're right and that what you're saying is true. So I would say F them. You know, the closer you are to the truth, the more the communists that are trying to wrestle control and turn us into a single party state, the more they will want to chip you, force you to carry an ID around that's electronic, which they kind of already do with these cell phones, right? But what do you guys think? Put it in the comments. Do you think that we're in a simulation? Do you believe in the singularity? Do you believe that these gravitic propulsion machines are real? What do you guys think? I think it's real. I think it's definitely real, and I want to know what you all think. I'm just wondering, am I like in the minority here, or do you guys think like I do? Does the other people in Team MPE think there's something more to this than meets the eye? I mean, I certainly do believe in satanic activity. I believe that Baal and Moloch are the gods of the left, primarily the liberal Democrats, the ones who want to mutilate your children and brainwash your boys into thinking they're girls, and brainwash your girls into thinking they're boys, and mess with them, mess with their sexuality before they're too old to understand. Like they want to get them when they're young and impressionable. And these college campuses are basically satanic training camps to brainwash kids into voting for leftists and atheists. What do you guys think? Anyways, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. God bless you guys. I'll see you later today. Semper Fi.